Hello again, this is Lazouche Custom Shop here. Okay, this is the second part of my ongoing project, custom build. It's to build this, which is the Les Baer Monolith bass pistol. So far it's all gone well. In the first part of the series I showed you the frame and I believe the slide as well, where I'd filled with filler and pinned and glued plasticard into the chin cutouts which would be there on the slide, and I'd extended the frame using the front section off of another MEU Night Warrior frame. Actually that was wrong, it wasn't the Night Warrior, it was the Desert Warrior frame from the 4.3 kit, or gun I should say. What was left over I didn't throw away. I did mention the fact that you could glue the Risrael to the front of what was left of the original frame, and there it is. As you can see, the front section of this frame with the holes in is missing because that is now used as part of the front of this, but the Risrael with the one remaining hole glues into what was left of the original frame, and it actually works. I've actually used this just as a test to see if it would work, and it does work. It doesn't jam or anything like that, which I was frightened of because I thought that the slide front apron, which is the bit on the slide here, would jam against the front or the back of this because this cutout is deeper, but no, it didn't. It worked okay. So yes, never throw away anything. It's an old modeller's adage, but it does work in the airsoft customization business as well. So there you go. Okay, now then, there's the drawing of the pistol, and there she is, fully complete. As you can see, it's slightly different to the original because I've put in a fibre optic front sight, which personally I like, especially the green colour. For some reason I seem to be able to pick that out. Even in bad lighting conditions it just seems to pick out better. Okay, it's all complete. The frame has been sanded smooth as best I can. I don't think you can really see a line there. The hole that was in there, obviously for the original Risrael to fit to, I've filled with plastic rod. Same the other side. You might just be able to make out the hole there. I don't know if you can, but anyway, I've tried to sand it down as best I can. There's a slight join line, but nothing major. It's all been pinned and glued, so it's not going to go anywhere. Markings have been filled where I felt fit. I mean, I've left the custom markings and the ASGK markings, but I mean, it's up to you really. You can leave it all on there if you want. I've left those on there because I'm thinking of re-engraving it with some other markings, i.e. maybe the Les Baer markings, I don't know yet. I've extended the number of rear cocking serrations to the slide and put my own on the front on both sides. Now they're not brilliant. I'm still trying to master this. It is very, very tricky to do, but I'm getting there slowly. But it does for me. As I say, these are only just lookalikes. They're just meant to look like the real steel. They're not meant to be exact to the merest millimetre, so they do for me. The barrel is a standard MEU barrel. All I've done is sprayed the chamber silver and had it engraved, which I don't think you might be able to make it out, I don't know, but it says on there Baer 45 match. Barrel bushing is a standard MEU barrel bushing, which I've polished and taken the black paint off and polished up. Barrel plug, standard MEU plug, because at the end of the day this is a 1911 extended dust cover, not an STI or Infinity one, which is where they use extended guide rods and they don't have a barrel bushing. Some of the Infinities do, I believe now, but Les Baer were the first to ever produce a extended dust cover 1911, true 1911 configuration, which is with the barrel bushing. So there you go. Anyway, another little bit of geeky knowledge there. Okay, the slide itself is a standard high kappa slide. All I've done is, as I say, extended the slide serrations and filled in the chin cutouts, which, if you're not sure what chin cutouts are, it's those. As you can see, they've been filled. So, which was pretty tricky to do actually, and as I say, this has only been used twice in game, so I'm still not quite happy with them staying in position, but they seem to. There's a slight line there, I can't get rid of that. Same the other side, as you can see there's a slight line, but not a lot. It's literally like a hairline crack. But other than that, it seems to be holding up, but whether it will last I don't know. The fillers never let me down so far, but who knows. Anyway, I've had the engraving done, as you can see, 45 ACP on one side, Behr Custom on the other. That's pretty much it really for the slide. Oh, beg your pardon, and I've rounded the top of the slide off and filled in the lines, which are the standard lines you see on top of a standard high kappa. So I've removed those and rounded them off, as you can see. And filled. Now be careful when you do this, reason being, when you fill or sand the top of the slide down to round it off, you can wind up with a gap underneath your actually, can you see it? Yeah, you can just about make out the gap. See the gap underneath the blooming sight? It's a bit of a pain, but there, you can just about see it there. I mean, I've managed to reduce it a bit, but be careful when you do sand or do a rounded top to a slide, because you can sand away too much. So yeah, so be careful on that. Okay, other parts are standard for the Les Behr type, which is my own custom made ambi thumb safety, which is the same as I did on my Premiere 2. All it is an MEU thumb safety, just cut down and as I say, made slightly different. I don't know if you can make it out there, but as you can see, this side's been cut down, shortened, that side's been cut down and shortened, but obviously this side is slightly narrower because it is the well, the off side, or whatever you want to call it, the weak-handed side. Sorry, left-handers, but that's what it's referred to in gun magazines. So there you go. So that's a standard, or made to look like a replica ambi safety for a Les Behr pistol. The slide lock is a standard 1911 slide lock, i.e. it's checkered, not lined, as per the MEU, which is what Les Behr fits. It's got the rounded end to it. The mag catch, however, is the standard MEU mag catch, which is the serrated one. Mainspring housing, flat, serrated type, as per the standard MEU. The only thing I've done to it is done away with the lanyard loop and filled it in and sanded it smooth and resprayed it. The hammer is actually this one is a Tanya Koba hammer, but usually I use standard TM 4.3 hammers. Now you can get them now, I believe, as replacements for the one that's on the TM 4.3 Extreme, which already comes chrome plated. It's not bad actually. Or you can polish up the standard 4.3 TM1 to your heart's desire. It's up to you really, but it's just extra work. But this one I've used is a Tanya Koba one. Hopefully I'll be getting a one from the Extreme and swap them out. I don't know why, I just prefer the TM ones. They seem to be a thinner sort of metal on them, which looks more like the real steel. These Tanya Koba ones, they're good, don't get me wrong. I mean, the chrome plating is very good, but the hole is just a bit too small, so it looks a bit not quite right. But there you go, that's me splitting hairs. Okay, moving on. It's a standard MEU grip safety, no difference there. The trigger would be a standard MEU trigger, i.e. 3-hole silver trigger, but I haven't got any in my spares box, so I've had to use a Garda trigger. Now you may notice, if you're really going to split hairs, but the actual depth of the trigger between the back and the face of the trigger is slightly shorter than what the standard Tokyo Marui MEU 3-hole trigger is. doesn't really matter, but I prefer the TM one. It's a nicer trigger. The Garda ones are good, don't get me wrong, I mean they really are good. You even get blooming a little grub screw in there for over travel adjustment if you really want to be picky, so it doesn't give you too much creep on the trigger before the hammer engages. But I'm not really into that at the moment. I may do eventually. But yeah, so the Garda triggers are good, really good. As I say, that's why I use them a lot for other projects. But normally for these types of pistol I just stick with the standard TM ones, but I didn't have any in my spares box, so there you go. As you can see, the frame is a standard MEU frame. The only thing I've done is added that front extra onto it. And that's pretty much it really as to adding parts. The grips, as you can see, are my own grips, which hopefully this summer, when I get a chance, I'll be doing a video, maybe even a video series on how to do these grips, whether they're wooden ones or the faux ivory ones, which I've done in the past. Yeah, so stay tuned for that. That will be coming. Grip screws, standard TM 1911 or MEU grip screws. They're only slot ones. And that's it really. There's no other real custom work to that. It's the same as my Premier 2 that I did a little while back. In fact, I did quite a while back. The only difference is the extended dust cover and the filled-in chin cutouts. So there you go. That is it. As I say, I've used it twice and it works very well indeed. I'm quite happy with it so far. Accuracy wise, it's not too bad. I'm waiting for the hot rubber to bed in. I believe the hot rubber in this, yes it is. It's a 9-ball one. So I've just got to wait until it beds in a little bit more yet. So remember, I've only used this twice. But they are very good. That's the purple hot rubber down in there if you don't know. Very good. I swear by them. They are exceptionally good. So yeah, if you want your pistol to be accurate, use a 9-ball hot rubber. That said, however, since using the TM57 and even the Glock with standard hot rubbers in, they're very good. The 5.7 especially, I found that to be an exceptionally accurate pistol. Range wise, it's pretty much on par with these, pretty much identical really. But if you want to get the most out of your 1911s or even high cappers, then go for the 9-ball hot rubber. You can even put it in a 5.7 after a while. It's up to you. But to be quite honest, out of the box, the hop ups in these is okay. They're pretty good, but I would swap them out for a 9-ball. But the 5.7 and the Glock, I can only speak as I find, and the ones that I've had, alright, fair enough, the Glock was second hand, so again it's a worn in TM hot rubber, but that one worked perfect, so there you go. Anyway, but the 5.7 I borrowed from someone, and that one worked really well, really well. In fact, the guy, he had to admit that yeah, it's been accurate ever since he got it out of the box, so there you go. Anyway, I'm going off at tangents here. We're talking about the Les Bayer here, so there you go. That's the project. It's all finished. There's nothing more to add to it. I'll give you a tip on painting these, because I've used a lot of filler on the front and obviously sanded stuff down. This originally was a front end from the Desert Warrior, so it was a tan colour. What I've done is I've pre-sprayed it with that, which is plastic primer. It's Halford's, but I mean you can use any plastic primer from any manufacturer, they're all pretty much the same. So use that first before you put on your matte black or whatever you're going to put on the top. If you're going to paint these silver, by the way, use white plastic primer. For the darker colours it's better to use the grey, but if you're going to use silver, use white. It will give it a better luster and it will make the silver shine out a hell of a lot more. And not only that, if you get holster wear, which is usually around the front of the pistol, around the muzzle area, it won't show up so much, so you won't have a nasty black sort of shading coming through too quick. That's it. That's pretty much it. Other than that, if you do think about taking on the Les Bayer Monolith, then by all means do so. It's a good little project. It's difficult, but if you feel you want to go for it, then go for it. I say it's difficult. The difficult bit is filling in the chin cutouts. The actual doing of the frame itself is fairly easy, really. It's very similar to what I've done in the past on the AMT hardballer, although that was on the slide. But the frame itself, this part is quite easy. The only difficult thing is actually keeping that frame dead straight, because if you look, I don't know if you can tell actually, but if you look down, that frame slightly bows down, which I'm annoyed about, but there's nothing I can do about that now. But so you wind up with a bit of a gap along there, so that the pistol sits high. I don't know if you can see it, but it sits slightly high out of the, there we go, you can just see it there, out of the frame, which is annoying because it should be down there, but it doesn't. So next one I do, I shall make sure that that maybe sort of slants up a bit instead of drooping down. But there you go. Anyway, oh, one other tip, because I used a high capper slide, you'll find that the MEU or 1911A1 barrel is slightly longer. For some reason the high capper slides are slightly shorter by about 2 mil, I think it is. Also the guide rod plug is shorter for the high cappers, whereas the 1911s are longer. I think I've covered this in another video anyway, so but if you do it, then you'll realise it, because your barrel will stick out longer and your guide rod plug won't fit properly. So how I overcome this, I may as well show you, is by placing a washer just on the inside of the reverse part of the plug. That just takes up that extra gap of the slide apron on a high capper slide if you're using the MEU or the 1911 barrel guide rod plug, sorry. It just takes up the slack, that's all, because otherwise this will poke out further and your barrel bushing won't work, and you have all sorts of problems. Oh yeah, with regards to the barrel bushing, if you're using a high capper slide, as I've said previously, you have to notch out the inside of the slide for the barrel bushing notch to go in. So that's another little job you've got to do. Covered that elsewhere on other videos, so it should be fairly easy to look those up and see how I did it. Standard hop rubber, so hop adjustment, so there's nothing new on there. Short guide rod, there's nothing internal wise that's been upgraded other than the 9-ball hop rubber, which I showed you earlier. Everything else is pretty much standard. So as I say, I've used it twice. It's fairly accurate. It's still got a bed in a bit yet, so I never sort of run before I can walk when it comes to these pistols. So I'll let you know later on, or as we go on, when I use this a bit more, how accurate it is. I'm getting standards 285, 290, something like that out of it at the moment, and that's on standard Abbey Ultra Gas. Reason being, it's quite warm at the moment. We're getting some quite warm weather, which is pretty good. Unusual for us, but there you go, in the UK, this early in the year. But yeah, so I'm getting some good power outage out of it just using Abbey Ultra Gas. But during the winter, I can assure you, you can use these, or even during the summer if you're in a moderate climate like we are, you can use green gas. Green gas won't affect these pistols at all. One other thing, because I'm using, I'll take it all apart again, but there we go, because I'm using a high capper slide, I always fit the Tanya Cobra slide spacer. Dead easy to fit. All you got to do is when you take out this inner frame, it just literally just drops in. You'll see it can't go in any other way. It just drops in, you slot the whole thing back in, tighten that screw up, and it locks that in position. And that's pretty much it. So, but that's what I use just to be on the safe side. It gives it a bit more stability. Okay, that's pretty much it for the Les Baer monolith. So this will go back together again properly. Yes, it does. I like it. I've always liked the monolith. It was one of the first Les Baer pistols I ever spotted, and I fell in love with it straight away. I always wanted to buy one or get one for airsoft, that is, and now I have. So there you go. I hope you've enjoyed the second half of this project. This project was over pretty quick. Reason being, well, a lot of other things happened, computer going down and whatnot, so I do apologise, because I was hoping to do this and a few more in the series, but because there's been a pretty big gap between the last few videos that I've uploaded, I thought I'd upload this pretty quick. Okay, so there we go, the finished item, the Les Baer custom TM Airsoft monolith pistol. Okay, this is Le Zouch Custom Shop, signing off.